Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a huge report to share with you today, and one you're not going to want to miss. Oftentimes, the economy gets overlooked and kind of pushed under the rug, and with all the talk of, Donald Trump and the terrorist attacks and everything that's going on, people are really and truly ignoring the monster in the room, which is the economy. And I think we always need to stay focused on that because honest and truly, it's not a matter of if it's going to crash, but when. We can't continue on this unstable path that we're on. And I've got a lot of new information that I'm going to share with you today on that. And I've actually brought on a really amazing guy with NobleGoldInvestments.com. He's where I get my gold from. Absolutely love this. But that's Charles Thorngren. And, I thought who better to come and give us economic advice during this time than him. So I'm bringing him on in just a moment. But I also want to say this. Yes, there are things that Donald Trump's doing to try to bring back the economy, but it's like bringing the dead back to life. So that's kind of where we're at with the economy. So Charles, are you with me over there?
I am. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Would you agree with that assessment? Let's just fly off the bat.
I would. Everyone talks about the Trump effect when he got elected. We saw a rally in the stock market. Everyone said this is going to be great for business. Now, a few months in, everyone's saying, oh, he's not doing what he promised. It's not the case. The problem is he's being stopped from what he wants to do. He has a plan. It does take money. Those of us who are more conservative, we don't like the idea of spending more money. But at a certain point, you have to fund the growth that you need. So we're in a unique situation where we now have the liberals are saying, we're not going to allow you to increase the budget. We're not going to let you run a deficit. They're trying to stop any momentum of fixing the things that President Trump's trying to fix. But we see that scenario right now. Something really important is with the air traffic controllers and what he plans to do with air travel. You have major corporations who are not a fan of it, but the people who work on the planes, who fly the planes, the smaller corporations, they think the plan's fantastic. It's going to give them the ability to increase their profits, to actually increase their business, make flights cheaper and faster. So it's odd when you see that and you have a part of this industry saying, no, we don't want it. It makes no sense. It's really about politics again. And unfortunately, politics permeates everything in the economy nowadays.
Yeah, that's the thing with politics is they've really kind of stuck. It's like they're almost inseparable. So now the economy is based off of what political arm they're going to push up or back, or and politics, because a lot of our politicians, a lot of our congressmen, a lot of the CEOs, obviously, bankers, big corporate corporate America, they all have a little piece of the pie. And so everybody's pulling the strings because they want to make money during this. Now, I was reading up a report, and I'm just going to share what I gathered from it. But it said that people are preparing for the stock market to crash. So what they're doing right now is they're learning, okay, what can we do to, when the stock market crash, how can we make money off of that? Do you have any advice in that area? Because if the little guys are preaching that, then that means something huge is about to happen.
Right. And I do. I think it really comes down to, in all times, you should be diversified. We have forgotten that as a nation. And the stock market branch of the investment has preached that diversity means differences of stocks instead of different asset classes. Asset class diversification is just as important. Precious metals, real estate, the stock market. You should be involved in all because that's true balance. When you have a scenario now where, everyone can feel that there's a problem in the stock market. It is so high. The valuations are just ridiculous. The PE ratio on the stock market is at an all-time high. It's at a level that indicates there will have to be a pullback. We've only been this high 3 times. 2007, now 2000, and the time that it came closest to where it is now is during the Great Depression. So these are all really telling indicators, but more importantly is people can feel it. They can feel it for themselves. They don't need a number. These are the things that I hear with everyone I speak to. They feel like there's going to be an issue. So you protect yourself with precious metals. Just like in every case where you've seen a major correction in the stock market, your price of metals goes up. That's what it's meant to do. And that's why that diversity is so important. There'll be a point in time where metals will get overvalued again. And it's a really simple thing, just like any other investment. When it moves up in value, you liquidate some. Maybe it'll be time for the stock market again. Maybe it'll be time for real estate again. But that's what finding the cycle is and investing in the cycle. That's what we help people do.
And I encourage everyone to do that because look, I do. I've got, my 5 ounce here. I've just brought a few 1 ounce here, the gold that I showed you guys earlier. And Charles, you sell all this stuff, do you not, on noblegoldinvestments.com?
We do. We have access to everything in the market. We will spend time with everyone though and find out what they want to do and give recommendations so they can make the best choice for themselves. But we have access to everything.
Awesome. Well, you're the only people I trust. Like, I won't use any local person or anyone, but just your company. And that's why I bring you on, because I value your input. And here's the thing about you guys too, is about the Bilderberg organization. You got a book in the back. You study their plans. I can see it on your dresser there. But you study what is going on. Let's learn about what the elitists are doing. Let's learn about their plans. Let's learn about their agenda. And then you base everything off of that. And it's people like you that I follow and go to during times that I know we could be hitting economic turmoil sometime here soon. And you said, they were very close to where we are at today with the Great Depression. Do you see another Great Depression coming for us here in America?
I see a different kind of depression coming. The Great Depression was interesting because there wasn't enough money in circulation. So the economy had a hard time growing. We have the opposite thing now. We have too much money in circulation. So your situation lies in how do you take it out of the economy without devastating the economy? And there's really no good answer. Now, one answer would be you could possibly see a massive correction in the stock market where these banks have to now take a loss. The last time we had that correction in 2008, $54 trillion was lost by the time that correction was done. 54 trillion. It's an amazing number. And we could see it again. That doesn't cover all of the money that's out there. So you have a couple scenarios. You could see a change of currency. You can see a massive write-off and reset of the economy. And no one knows. Well, there are people who know, but it's just not you and I. So what we do is we say, okay, here's the information that's available. Let's not try to guess our way through a situation. Let's create a plan. Find out the best course of action that's going to get you protected. And that's what we do. And that's why you had mentioned, you see the books in the background. I do a lot of research because I don't guess. Guessing is not an investment strategy. You've got to inform yourself. You've got to make the decisions that are going to give you the best protection. You create a plan for it. And that's what we help people do.
Awesome. Well, let me just add to that. A lot of people say, well, Donald Trump, the economy is doing better. And I question, it might be for a little while, but it's not studying that way. For example, right now, and I'm pulling up a statistic, and I encourage everyone to Google it, but 102 million people are out of a job. That's not a little number when we consider, what is it, 310-ish, 309-ish, somewhere around there, million people that live in America. 102 million is like a third. That's a huge, from 310 million, 102, that's a big gap. So we have lots of people out of job. We have people in the stock market talking about how to benefit from a stock market crash. They're actually excited about this. And I'm thinking, wow, for the little guy who isn't preparing, who isn't ready, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So that's why I am so huge about who I bring on my channel and why I bring them on my channel. It's because I really value what you do. I believe in what you do. I believe in storing up precious metals, especially with people who are educated on your level, because my heart is for all the viewers out there, because I love each and every single one of you guys. is to get the truth of the economy out, and I'm attempting to prepare you guys for something that I myself prepare for. And so that's my heart, and that's why I love Charles over there, just because he adds that in the mix, and he's obviously one of my top picks, or he is my top pick for precious metal and gold. So I just want to say thank you, Charles, for that. Now, do you have any last tips that you want to share? I mean, as far as the millions of people losing their jobs, I mean, what is your view on all of that too?
It's an interesting scenario. You can't grow a nation with unemployment. It's just not possible. You have to have a gross domestic product, your GDP, and that's only accomplished by doing. And here's an important thing. By doing what Donald Trump is talking about. When President Trump says bringing jobs back, that's what we're talking about. Now, we all have to understand economics is not a fast game. It's a very slow game. Macroeconomics takes time. And you've heard me say it before. It's going to take a couple of years. You can't just create jobs overnight because the infrastructure has deteriorated. And this is why he's talking about spending money on roads and bridges. Because you got to have an infrastructure to create industrial jobs. So it's a long-term plan that he has. It's going to take a couple of years. So what we see with that, while we're waiting for that to happen, the standard investment that everyone talks about now, you look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, everyone's saying how wonderful it is. It's up 7.5% this year. Gold is up 11.5%. No one's talking about gold because it doesn't fit their agenda. And it's the same thing. They're talking about how President Trump wants to spend money. Yes, sometimes you need to spend some money to create money. Our system has been deteriorated. We let jobs leave, and we didn't upkeep the infrastructure for those jobs. So we have to reinvent it again.
So true. And that's the thing. The elite themselves are stocking up on silver, are stocking up on gold. Why are they doing that? Well, they know something's coming. That's kind of like it in a nutshell. And that's why I'm like, well, if we really want to know, we got to follow some of what they're doing because they're preparing. They've been through that and they're pulling a lot of strings. So that's why I think people like you and what you do are so important. So with that, make sure you guys go to noblegoldinvestments.com and prepare yourself. It's no joke what's going on in the economy. It's been this way for years. It's not going to have some miracle cure overnight. We're still ticking up on the clock. The debt hasn't been gone much down or up. It's still going up off and on. And we need to keep that in mind. We're at that turning point, and that's why you're hearing about wars stimulate economy, and so now is the time to do it. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, but today, because we're truly on a limited time clock. You agree with that?
I do. I expect to see a pretty sharp rise in the price of metals. I just don't know when it is. That's very hard to forecast. Prices are good now. If you have the means, you should do it. It just makes sense at these points.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, you guys, for tuning in. Don't forget to go to noblegold.com. Let them know you heard it from Lisa Haven. I'll leave the links below. You also have stuff with 401ks turning into IRAs, correct? You have that?
Absolutely. And I think people need to think about that. Oftentimes, people forget that retirement account. It's probably one of the most important things you have because it takes time for the retirement account to grow. You want to make sure it's protected correctly.
And what better way to do it through that? So, all right. Well, thanks again for tuning in. This is Lisa Haven and Charles Thorngred with Noble Gold signing out.